Hey everyone, welcome to the Mongata podcast hosted by me, Valarie Boudère. I'm a certified sound therapist as well as a healing coach and life design mentor. I work with clients every single day to help them uncover the answers to the big questions. How do I heal? How do I feel better about my life? Who am I? What's my purpose? And what do I do next? I also help them transition from all the shoulds in life and make living vibrantly a priority by living their life design and who they really are. It's time to be more you. So sit back, relax, and grab your journal because you're going to want to take notes. Let's get to it. Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome back to the Mongata podcast. Last week, we talked a little bit about setting intentions and how it's different from setting a goal. So this week, I thought we might talk about what you're wanting to bring into your life this year and what that might look like. So it's time to design your year intentionally. We do this in part by designing our days intentionally. So little by little, step by step, day by day, we end up creating our year. We all have ideas and habits, thought processes, and just, stuff that we need to leave behind and transform. There's also our special ways of being and our connection with our spirit, soul, and source that needs to be called forward too. So who will you be this year? Who will you be when it comes to wealth, money, business, body, your health, love, support? Usually at the end of every year, I go through this entire process of looking back and seeing what I've accomplished, what my wins were, what my losses were, what I need to work on, and so forth. I'm not really one to do resolutions, but my ending of the year system and ritual always includes choosing my word of the year in both my personal and business lives. This past year, when 2021 was in the process of ending, I simply did not have the bandwidth to go through my usual procedures. So I sat there thinking, what is the one thing from this whole entire process that I can do to create my new year or start my New Year's intentions from? And I chose to go with my word of the year. I think it's really important to have a focal point and a focus for the new year, especially in these times we've been living in. It's been so difficult for everyone, hasn't it? I mean, what? It's been almost 2 full years of COVID. By February, March, we're going to be starting our 3rd year of COVID. It has been really hard for everyone on some level. This has been really major and really extensive. The first person I lost to COVID was in the first weeks of knowing about COVID. My beautiful adopted spiritual mother, Rachel Sally. There have been several extended family members who have died from COVID. I've seen several of my children's friends in their mid-30s die of COVID. Everyone in my personal circle has been affected by COVID somehow, on some level. People have lost friends and family to COVID. They've lost their jobs or opportunities. It's been really hard and difficult, and things have really shifted and changed in the workplace. Never to be like it was before. It's been really tough. That's why it's more important than ever to go into 2022 with more thought and intention. COVID is here, and instead of waiting for it to end, we have to jump off this hamster wheel and get in the ring and intentionally think about and feel the life we are going to create and live going forward. The virus is leading our lives right now, and I'm getting really tired and I'm really sick of it. Yes, I'm vaxxed, and yes, I'm still wearing a mask. So I just got to thinking there has to be a way to live our lives fully and go forward, or at least around it somehow. Everyone now is talking about the new normal. So, what does that look like? There are ways that we can change how we're looking at things. So, we can't change what's happening in our outside world, but we can change the way we respond to it so that we can have a happy life, even in spite of the pain, even in spite of the hardship that's surrounding us right now. What are some practical ideas that we can use moving forward? We can't control what is happening outside of us, right? And again, out there in the world, but we can control how we feel about things, or we can use tools to shift how we're feeling about things, even if it's just for a moment. Words are so powerful. When I'm teaching my classes or coaching my clients, I always say that there is no such thing as luck. Success is created. We can take this idea into our everyday lives as well, even in the midst of a global pandemic. We may have to change our idea and our definition of what success is, but we get to do that. We're in control of that. One way is we have to show up daily, be present, and put in the work. And I think more importantly is to show up daily and be present. Work has its own way of finding its way into our lives, right? So, who do you want to be this year? Like, again, I want to just repeat that, our intentions are not goals. So, who do you want to be this year? How do you want to feel about yourself and your life this year? It doesn't have to be these major goals, right? Maybe who you want to be this year is more gentle and patient with yourself, even kinder to yourself, being even self-loving to yourself. Maybe you want to create this beautiful, nice little cozy corner in your house to feel relaxed in. Maybe you want to focus on your job this year, and try and create a better way to work or a new way to work, something that's in alignment with yourself during these times, instead of just scrapping and reacting to this and that, right? Really getting a focus on how you want to feel as you work or how you want to feel as you live. It can be really hard to think of who we want to be during this COVID time because we've been put in a corner. Every day there's a new update. There are new surges. Are schools staying open, or are they closing? Like last week here in Santa Fe, schools were closed. And even our governor, on Monday, there's so many people that have called out sick with COVID that the governor of New Mexico was a substitute teacher this week. So everybody's pulling together to try to make this work. So today, as I record this podcast, COVID is surging in uncontrollable rates all over the country. Just as I mentioned, COVID has hit my home, my family, my city. And in the past 2 weeks, I myself and my little household have had to deal with COVID as well. Thankfully, all of us are well and recovering nicely. It's just out there. We have been so careful, and still we got COVID. We can't change this, but the way we do have some control here is that we have to realize that everything outside of us is also outside of our control, like COVID. But everything that is inside of us is in our control. So going forward in 2022, we have to decide how we want to feel this coming year. Do you want to feel safe and rested? That's a big one on my list. Do you want to feel happy? Do you want to feel like you've achieved something or success? Do you want to feel abundant, expansive, open, free? Do you want to feel growth in 2022 or peace and calm? All of these are decisions that are in our control. And so many times we think, well, if I work this job and make so much money a year, then I'll be happy. If I can buy this car, this purse, these shoes, or go eat at this restaurant, or take out from this restaurant, then I'll be happy. But what is it to cultivate that sense of happiness inside yourself, or that sense of abundance or expansiveness inside of yourself? So it's really important that you start thinking of how you'd like to feel during this new year that we've just started. And that I might add, the first month of this new year is nearly over. I do not know where January went. So get out some paper, or if you just want to jot something down on your phone, let's start thinking about our word of the year. I used to have this really fancy, maybe even complicated way of doing this when life was calmer and we weren't living in a global pandemic. But for today, I'd like you to think of about 10 to 15 words and write them down. You can even start by thinking like, how do people feel me? Do they say I'm happy, I'm joyful, I'm I'm a go-getter? Like, you can start that way and see if these words resonate you. Or words may just start popping into your head, and so just start writing them down. The really important thing is that these are words that resonate with you and that you would love to embrace and embody and project out from you into the world. Or if that's a big order, you would simply like to feel yourself. You can have as many words as you like, but 10 to 15 is about the limit. Any more than that, and it becomes like this really hard thing to choose. You'll find 5 words that just are so meaningful to you. And yes, you really can have 5 words of the year. I usually have 3 or 4, usually 3 words of the year. But for now, we just really want to go with simple, right? So once you get your list of 10 to 15 words, can you narrow it down to 5? And then can you narrow it down to 3? And then let's choose that one word. So from the smaller list of words, either 5 words or 3 words, is there a word that resonates deeply with you? You don't have to choose your word right now, but eventually this is where we're working for. So maybe you want to try a few on for size, and that's totally legit. But eventually there will be one word that feels like your theme for the year and what you want to feel like for this year and what you want to put out into the world for this year. Also, really connect to the idea of feeling your word for the year as opposed to thinking your word of the year. How would you like to feel for 2022? It's okay to give the mind and brain a little break. Again, how would you like to feel in 2022? It could be happiness or peace or gratitude or success, relief, achievement, expansion. It could be anything, really. Just think about what word could serve you this year. And if you've made it this far, you might be thinking, why? Why do I need to do this? What is the purpose of all this? The reason why is to give you a focus for your year. Having a focus can serve you during the difficult and hard times that any year can bring. It helps you to get control of your emotions and feelings. Remember, you can't control your external world, but you can control the way you're feeling. So when tough moments happen, you can think of your own word of the year, sort of like a mantra, to bring you back into focus and remind yourself that you get to choose how you feel in any given moment, in any given situation. Okay, that's out of my control, but my word of the year is blank. Fill in the blank, okay? So this word, whatever it is how I'm choosing to feel now, or how I'm going to make this moment for myself, or how I'm going to evolve. That's important. That's your intention and your words serving you and you holding space and intention for yourself. That word is really important. It can ground us and help us. And if you start each day by maybe journaling while you're drinking your tea or coffee or matcha and think of your word and how you're going to bring that into your day. I actually like to lay in bed before I get up. I'm waking up in the morning and I think, how do I want to impact my day? Or how do I want to impact my world during this day? And oftentimes that really does start with my word. So, you want to just think of how you're going to bring that into your day. I have a little confession to make. My word this year, I actually chose from a basket that my friend held out to me. Inside the basket were these wooden stars. On one side, it had the year 2022 written on it, and on the other side was a word. We couldn't see what the words were. We had to just reach in and grab a word. She's calling these star words. The word I chose was joy. I kind of sort of disregarded it given the circumstances of our world at the moment and lives. And then I started seeing this word everywhere. I even found myself thinking of this word when I woke up in the morning. So I have a couple of questions. What brings you joy in your life? Do you know? Are you aware of what makes you happy? Do I know what brings me joy or makes me happy? Are we focusing so much on the negative that if asked what would bring you joy, that we wouldn't even have an answer? Are we so busy filling our daily obligations that we put off to a later day or time or moment to do those things that make us feel good? So while I was lying in bed pondering joy, it dawned on me that joy is actually a feeling which deals in the present moment of now and only now. It doesn't deal with the past and it doesn't deal with the future. Joy is something we feel right now or we don't feel right now. So for the past couple of years, I've been holding this image of what life will feel like when we can get back to normal. It's that kind of one-day theory. But could it be possible to feel just a momentary second of joy right now? So if we go back to the beginning of why we're choosing our word for the year, it's so that we can take control of how we're feeling, even if we can't control our outside circumstances. I'm really happy with the word that chose me this year. Last year's word was about peeling back the layers to have a look at what was really there. Do you have a guess what that word was? Just take a little guess. So my word for 2021 was, are you ready for this? Onion. My friends really liked it. I really liked it too. I thought I was being, really hip. One of my friends here in New Mexico shared that the woman in her family and community gathered together to cut onions so that they can cry on purpose at the same time they're preparing something good to eat. So, how can you bring your word forward in this new year? We're really wanting to change something this year. It is going to take more than just thinking about your word, but really feeling it and bringing it into your life. More than just thinking about it every morning or every afternoon, how can you make it happen? Let's say, for example, your word is happy. Can you feel happy in 2022? Maybe your word is success. Maybe last year was really challenging and you didn't feel successful. Business and jobs have been so difficult this past year. Maybe you've lost income. Maybe you've lost ways to earn a living, or maybe you've just had to really put the soprano on her head and recreate your business altogether. Maybe you've just really had a hard year and have been counting pennies and struggling. Whatever situation you find yourself in, First, I just want to say I'm really sorry for this and acknowledge that what you're going through has been really difficult. I know everyone has struggled, and I'm so sorry that this is happening to you and to all of us. So let's just pretend that your word is success. How can you be successful? How can you feel more successful? We often have these ideas of, I'll feel successful when I have success. But what if you reverse that and saying, what does success feel like? I'm going to put that coat on. I'm going to try this on, this word success. And how would a successful person act like? How would they feel like? What motions do they do to go through their day? How can I bring this into my day and make my day a success? What can I do? So, there by these questions, we're going to implement something I call inspired action. Maybe there are books you can buy or read. There's even books like the word we just talked about, happiness or joy. There's actually even books about happiness and joy, and there's workshops about happiness, joy, and success. So maybe taking an online course can help you expand this word. I love to teach online and in-person courses, but I have really taken many, many, many online courses during COVID. I've also completed a couple of certifications during this time as well. So online learning is an amazing way to embrace and expand oneself. I'm a teacher, so I love to see how other instructors teach and gather their students into community. Gaining more knowledge or certifications can help you be successful is one way to go about this. Reading books that help you become more successful and knowledgeable in your field. Also, surround yourself with people who can help you be more successful or happy or joyful. So where are those people that you want to feel like, or your word of the year, like where can you find them? Maybe there are meetup groups online. I know I've been looking for a couple meetup groups, or in other places that feel safe for you to meet during COVID that can support you. It's amazing what being in a group of like-minded individuals can do for one's spirits. So, what if you can't find or discover a word? Maybe nothing resonates with you. Maybe you don't know how you want to feel for 2022. Maybe you're down or a little depressed, or you're getting over COVID, and so you feel really tired. You feel a little clueless. You don't really know how you're going to feel better for next year. You're not feeling better now. It's really hard to kind of see that and to shift that. So you kind of feel like you're drifting or floating. If that's you, then I totally get it. So in these moments, it helps just to empty everything out of what's inside of you. When we can't get a feeling for something, it means we're completely filled up with emotions and thoughts and feelings, and this can create confusion. So I like to do one of two things if I'm feeling filled up. One is breath work, and just simply, there's a couple ways of doing slow and deep breaths in and slower exhales out can help center you and get this confusion feeling to end. Another thing is just to grab a journal or a few pieces of paper. And I really do like writing as opposed to using my two thumb system or my computer system to write things down. If there's something really just so visceral about writing pen to paper or pencil to paper. And so write down everything that is in your head. Just write it all down. I have a really kind of crude term for this. I call it puke on the page. Really, just clear it out to create a space so you can bring something in intentionally. You are full to the brim. So it's time to empty out. Don't just leave everything trapped in your head, because then you'll be on a treadmill and there's not much room in your own life, and you'll just keep going on this treadmill. You'll be there every day going through the motions. Wake up, eat lunch, go to bed, go to the bathroom, wash, rinse, repeat. So to get off this treadmill and to be present in your life, you just want to get the stuff out of your head and onto paper. You deserve the best in life. You deserve the mostest and the bestest. This is between you and yourself, and no one ever needs to see what you're writing about, okay? But it does help to just clear things out. So as we go forward, let's really think about, how do you want 2022 to feel? How do you want to move forward in this next year? What is your word? Again, we're going back to that word. What will it be? Having that word and embracing and embodying that word, what kind of experience can you expect to kind of happen to you in 2022? What do you need to learn to deepen and expand this word in you more? Maybe you need to think again about books and podcasts and people and things that you surround yourself with. How can these things help you to learn so you can have the kinds of experiences you need to have in order for your year to be really joyful or happy, fulfilling, purposeful, successful, expansive? Like, if this is your choice, choose the highest and best thing for yourself. You are so deserving. You deserve this. I really want that for you. I really feel that we all really deserve this right now. So let's walk into this new year with a clear understanding of what we're wanting to experience and hold in 2022. Let's just get started and let's just go. Let's hit the ground running. Leave a comment below and let me know what your word of the year is and what feelings you want to call in. I want to thank you for joining me today. Travel gently through this next week. Go forth and be marvelous, and I will see you really soon.